Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Interconnect 2015 Cloud Infrastructure and IT Optimization Keynote.
A lot of the issues and challenges that MIBTree's customers face today tend to be focused around the correlation and the gathering and the analytics of the data, the vast amount of data that they cater for day to day.
I think a lot of cloud players, when they first start out with infrastructure as a service, their first port of call, but then very quickly start developing into platform as a service and software as a service in their offerings as well. And we are starting to head into that space. The difficulty becomes if you don't then bring your orchestration and your automation with that, if you don't have sufficient visibility of the systems you're running, then you run the risk of actually building a very fragile infrastructure.
When you get to the scale of data that we're talking about, the human effort involved in fixing problems is enormous. So the more reliable we can get, the more stable that we can get, the less intervention that we have to do is critical for us in being able to actually afford to run the operation.
Our community has very much embraced the whole agile development process, but increasingly you're hearing the phrase continuous delivery. And it's really a concept of managing the application not just while it's in development, but all the way through production, release control, versioning control, and how we manage the integration of the technology that's underneath the application.
In today's world, the biggest attraction with cloud is agility. So if somebody needs to enlarge their infrastructure on demand, the best place today to do it is on the cloud.
With the rise of cloud, big data, and mobile devices, every business is transforming to a hybrid business. At IBM, we're helping our clients build, run, and manage these hybrid environments and applications with solutions for DevOps teams to save time, work together, and accelerate innovation.
Please welcome Vice President IT Service Management Development, IBM Middleware, Wing 2.
Welcome. It's great to see so many of you at Interconnect. In this session, we will be looking at the transformations we and our clients are seeing as technology evolves. We'll be looking at how these transformations enable new business opportunities and present new challenges for IT operations. And we'll be sharing with you our capabilities for managing and optimizing these new environments. Let's start by looking at the transformations we see occurring. On the one hand, we have traditional IT that runs mission-critical applications. Think of financial transaction systems, claim processing systems, health record systems, and billing systems. These systems of record are critical to the functioning of an organization. In contrast, there are new types of applications emerging to address new organizational business needs, enabled by a new breed of technology to directly engage with users. These are systems of engagement. Studies show that software apps for mobile devices can enable new customer relationships, help improve customer loyalty, and increase cross-selling and upselling. Take, for example, an insurance company with apps for claim processing that make it quicker and easier for the customers to upload photographic proof for their claims. This both improves customer satisfaction and improves the efficiency of processing claims. Lines of business want to seize these opportunities, and they are demanding flexibility and speed from IT operations to deliver these new services. And there is even a risk of lines of business creating shadow IT when they don't get the speed they need. So organizations are shifting to Agile and DevOps to be more responsive to market feedback. This is driving much tighter interactions between development and operations and changing the role of IT operations. So we have different types of systems emerging. Different applications leverage different types of systems depending on need and fit. We have on-premise systems characterized by being highly available and reliable. They have no scalability that organizations can directly control and specialize for different applications. They meet compliance and regulatory requirements on data security and privacy. These on-premise systems also tend to be under budget pressures, so they need to be highly optimized, driving the heavy use of virtualization and consolidation. In contrast, the public cloud systems are suited to a new breed of application that engage with end users. These systems are characterized by self-service for developers and end users, and developers, they enable rapid development and innovation as resources are available on demand and are suited to continuous delivery and DevOps models. The challenge with these environments is that they face strong governance and assurance needs to enable high levels of service. But the situation isn't as simple as that. The reality is there isn't just one or the other type of system. It's a hybrid world where these systems depend on each other. The services an organization deliver typically require a mixture of these different applications and systems. Take, for example, a clothes retailer with a mobile app to notify customers of special offers and the latest fashion trends and news. The mobile app will likely run on the public cloud due to ease of access and dynamic scale. However, any purchase through the app will require connecting to a secure on-premise credit card processing system. This service clearly requires both types of systems to provide that end-to-end service. The challenge is how to manage and optimize this new era of hybrid IT. The key characteristics of service management that IBM identified remains the same: visibility, control, and automation. So visibility, to understand the health, performance, and relationship between all aspects of the service. Control, to understand the business policies and governance across the services and infrastructure. And automation, to drive efficiency, speed, and reliability. Visibility and control and automation have been available for some time for on-premise systems. And we've been extending this to support the new public clouds and PaaS systems. But we need more than that. We need to have visibility, control, and automation across on-premise systems and public cloud systems. The systems themselves do not exist in isolation, so it's not sufficient to support the different systems as a silo. They must be managed together. In addition, there is an ever greater need for IT operational analytics across visibility, control, and automation, as these systems generate ever more data and are increasingly complex. Although these new services may seem simple and easy to use by the consumer, the underlying hybrid environments are becoming increasingly complex and generate large volumes of data. Take, for example, how easy it is for a person to now transfer funds from their bank account using a smartphone. To the user, this appears easy, but underneath there is a mobile application, there's an application server, there's a customer database, there are financial transaction systems, third-party networks, and they all depend on each other. Analytics is needed to search through this information to be able to determine patterns to predict issues before they occur and to be able to optimize these complex systems. To provide visibility, control, and automation requires a holistic service management approach that is able to manage the different on-premise, public cloud, and PaaS systems. And critically, service management must manage across these different types of systems to provide an end-to-end view and control of a service. In the same way that flexibility and choice have become essential for workloads so they can execute and run depending on fit and need, service management capabilities are also run depending on where they need to be consumed, and that choice is also becoming equally essential. It enables service management to mirror the needs of the workload. So an organization may choose to monitor on-premise applications from an on-premise monitoring tool due to proximity. Or they may decide to monitor their public cloud applications using monitoring as a service to enable their developers to deploy monitoring as they're developing their apps. They may even choose to monitor their on-premise remote offices using monitoring as a service to simplify deployment. And they will need to combine these different ways of consuming service management to have an end-to-end management of a service. Flexibility and choice is essential for service management to match the business needs. We are transforming our service management capabilities to enable flexibility and choice. We've provided our capabilities on-prem for many years. Last year, we launched Service Engage, our digital experience to provide service management as a service. This year, we've extended that to support hybrid IT. So we at IBM recognize a growing transformation to hybrid IT and the ecosystem of standards that surround it. We are transforming our service management capabilities to manage all types of environments, supported by open technologies such as OpenStack, Tosca, and OpenPower. We'll continue this support for open standards with communities and with the announcement last week of IBM Spectrum Storage. We will be providing flexibility and choice in service management so that it's available as on-premise software, available as a service through IBM Service Engage built on SoftLayer, available as service in PaaS systems such as Bluemix, or available as a managed service for our global services organization. And we are providing the ability to compose these together to enable complete service management for hybrid IT. And underlying all of this is integrated analytics to provide actionable insights into IT operations. Now, I'd like to bring up to stage some special guest speakers so that they can share with us the transformations they have been making and the challenges they have faced. Please welcome onto stage Chris Pryor, Global Information Services Manager for Engineering at Whirlpool Corporation. Laura Sanders, IBM General Manager for GTS Systems Services. And Randy Hounsell, Director of Infrastructure Operations and Performance at Centerpoint Energy. So welcome onto the stage.
Thanks, Wayne.
And Chris, could you start us off by telling us about Whirlpool and the transformations you're seeing within IT?
Yes, thank you, Wayne. A little about Whirlpool Corporation. We are the #1 major appliance manufacturer in the world, with 100,000 employees, 70 manufacturing and technology research centers throughout the world in 2014. The company markets KitchenAid, Whirlpool, Maytag, Console, Amana, JennAir, Indeset, and yes, other major brand names in more than 170 countries. We are a major appliance manufacturer, not an IT infrastructure company. The cloud offers pay-per-use pricing. It can cut expenses for equipment and applications, plus the costs to power, cool, house, install, and manage them. Moving from an IT asset owner model, the legacy model, to a service model, the cloud model, we expect to become more agile by enabling the implementation of applications faster and add capacity on demand, and as well remove it. Remember, pay per use. The cloud simplifies the concept of fit for purpose. We can focus on managing the business, not the technology infrastructure.
I can see many clients wanting to do this shift and focus into delivering services faster. What concerns do you have as you shift to this type of model?
Care must be taken to truly understand the business process workloads, applications that are being considered for a cloud replatform. An application architect, an infrastructure architect, should be the initial engagement. This is to determine if there are any glaring pitfalls, generally integration, latency, etc. Information security is the next group to engage to cover off on compliance. This can be business process workload. This can be business process workloads that may not be a good fit to move externally or even partially outside the corporate campus or even outside the country for that matter. And then there is network. None of the items listed matter if you cannot connect them in a cost-effective manner.
I think many of our clients will sympathize with those concerns. This is clearly a journey. And could you tell us about the steps you've taken along this journey?
Certainly. Along with what I've described, there are also a few more. We captured several business process workloads that were good candidates for cloud for various reasons. These were not too complex. We have successfully migrated our email collaboration, North American and European e-commerce, and disaster recovery for some of our product engineering platforms. With the e-commerce solution, we now have the benefit of not owning the hardware, and we can scale as needed. For instance, we do not need to have a performance testing environment active all the time. Similar benefits are being realized with the DR for our product engineering effort. Hardware now does not need to be owned by Whirlpool Corporation sitting in our data centers. To date, our efforts have been very successful reducing the needs for some direct capital investments, things like servers, disks, data center, HVAC, etc., as well as providing increased agility, as I mentioned earlier.
It's great to see that you're starting to see the benefits of this already. Now, Laura, GTS is a key service partner with Whirlpool. Is there anything you'd like to add from your perspective?
Oh, yeah, thanks, Wing. First of all, I'd like to thank Chris and the Whirlpool team for having us as a trusted service provider. And as you heard from Chris, Whirlpool has a really wide-ranging and diverse set of requirements. They have a very large scope and very sophisticated environment. So their workload requirements, as you heard, was their entire e-commerce environment, disaster recovery for product development, regional data protection, and of course their connected appliance solutions. So we had the breadth of capabilities to give them, cloud managed services, soft layer, traditional IT, so we could address their diverse needs. But the main thing we did together was we had a team of experts that focused on defining their vision of how they wanted to execute IT as a utility service. Because as you heard from Chris, at the end of the day, it's about the service to the business. So we were able to do that in an architect a flexible hybrid environment to put the right solutions on the right platform as required by the business and the workload. And one thing I would recommend that we did together is we did rapid development on POCs so we could prove stuff or not prove stuff sometimes in Whirlpool's own environment, so it was demonstrating real value.
That use of rapid proof of concepts and bringing together experts as a team, I think that's a great insight, Laura. Yeah, can you share more of your definition of hybrid cloud and what are values you've seen it bring to clients?
Yeah. So, IBM's the world's largest IT service provider. So we've been dealing with hybrid environments and integrating them for clients for decades, helping them design, build, and manage solutions that connect traditional platforms and whatever the emerging technology and capability is. So cloud is, of course, the newest of those, and it brings really great things. We heard some of them, the economics, the standards, the flexibility, the agility. And like with Whirlpool, the value of hybrid IT is about constantly assembling and managing the right mix of existing and new technology to meet the rising expectations of the business while maximizing the return on IT investment. And, for us, this is a priority for many clients, and I'm sure you'll hear more of that. And according to Gartner, 75% of clients are going to have some type of hybrid IT strategy by the end of this year. So I would say it's very real and very here.
That's an interesting statistic. I think it shows some of that momentum behind hybrid IT. And so, can you give us other examples of clients that you've engaged with that you've helped transform on this journey?
Yeah. So, IBM is lucky to work with so many clients, about 30,000 over the years with our business partners to help them design and manage and build, not necessarily in that order, all aspects of IT. So we are used to managing incredibly heterogeneous environments and designing the capabilities for them to run. So, a lot of people think it's IBM. Well, we manage more IBM and non-IBM products than anybody in the world. So for us, there's no such thing as vanilla. It's always been hybrid. And we're seeing clients benefit from the new capabilities of cloud and hybrid environments from enterprises that were changing their business model, like Whirlpool adding to it, or from board on the web. And we see IT buyers and we see lines of business buyers that really want to get that value. So a couple of examples, CCA, which is one of the largest Coca-Cola bottlers and distributors, and they focused on AP and Australia. And they said, look, we want one SAP environment, cloud-based, so not behind in their data center. And we want it to be for all of our environments so we can bring up new markets like Indonesia very quickly, but we don't want to lose the control that we have for markets that we're already in, like Australia. Or UniCredit, which is the largest bank in Italy, they wanted to have an architecture and management capability so we could have a traditional IT connected to all their cloud models, but they wanted a single environment for that, a single management infrastructure. So the resulting environment that we all design together, lets them reduce their costs and increase speed and flexibility so they get new services out. But if you take a step back with the magnitude of the infrastructure they were supporting, they estimate that they'll save over $1 billion in 10 years by leveraging a commonly managed hybrid model. I mean, that's a lot of new projects. So I know y'all, many people think of IBM with very large clients, but we design, build, and manage for so many clients around the world. And we find that with hybrid, clients are able to grab and put new workloads or change workloads and asking us to manage on 5 servers or 1 middleware environment. And we think that's terrific because it really allows them to get the value of hybrid while we're giving them productivity gains and also reduced application downtime.
And what differentiates IBM in helping clients do these type of transformations?
I would say 3 big things, Wing. We always have to say 3, right? So first of all, we already talked about the knowledge of very heterogeneous technology and environments, having had the honor and ability to do so many client environments over the years. But we do leverage a lot of our own capabilities to do that. So the close partnerships we have with the software team, like yours, allows us to leverage that technology tailored to our environments. So when you're doing hybrid management, one of the capabilities you really need is to have an integrated service management across all of this hybrid capability. So we use IBM Control Desk to do that. We're by far the largest user. We generate about 30 million proactive and reactive tickets a year. So it's great because we do that in an automated format. We made it about 400% faster. But also, we're able to integrate across thousands of other service management systems so we can provide an integrated service management solution to clients like Chris and do that across a hybrid environment. And finally, since our clients are all over the world and global, and some of them are in 170 countries like us, we can do that all over the world. So basically for hybrid, we want to help our clients manage anything from everywhere to anywhere.
And with those type of environments, you must be seeing a lot of operational performance data. And by providing these type of services, what type of things can you see that you can do with all this data?
Yeah. Well, we can get a lot of analytics, and we started to get them by need and then found out what a great opportunity for us and our clients because we can help predict and diagnose problems before they happen. So those 30 million tickets I talked about, they give you lots of data. So whether we're managing the client's environment or not, we're able to be more proactive in determining what's going to happen and apply that to a client's environment. So just one example, at a very large European bank, and we took the data from their environment and from other environments, and it helped us catch errors that were going to happen that didn't happen, and we saved them and us about $600,000 a month because we were able not to have those incidents happen.
Oh, thanks, Laura. Those are great examples. Now, speaking of data, Randy, as an energy provider, you must be dealing with huge volumes of data. Can you tell us a bit about Centerpoint and the shifts in your industry and the impacts it's having on IT?
Absolutely. Centerpoint Energy is a leading energy delivery company headquartered in Houston, Texas, serving over 5 million metered customers, including 2.3 million electric customers within the Houston service territory. In 2008, Centerpoint Energy embarked on an investment in smart grid technology, including over 2.3 million automated meters, executing 10 million electronic service orders, in other words, turn-off service, which resulted in vehicle fuel savings of over 1 million gallons of fuel, avoidance of over 9,000 metric tons of CO2 emissions, restoring power to over 1 million customers without a phone call, and avoiding over 101 million minutes of customer outages. With the introduction of automated meters and intelligent smart grids, our electric operations rely on technology to deliver reliable electric service to our customers.
Randy, those are some big numbers and some big operational savings, and I really like the positive impact on the environment. Now, with this introduction of technology, what are the challenges and changes that this new technology is having on IT operations?
That's a good question, Wing. There's three key challenges. There's an explosion of data as we now read those 2.3 million meters at 15-minute intervals, which has resulted in our environment in an 850% growth of data.
Wow.
Emergence of multiple shadow IT groups within the organization, just to name a couple, are like the automated meter systems, advanced distribution management system, GIS, and et cetera. And then finally, the need for a complete end-to-end situational awareness of all these systems. We must be able to proactively manage business-critical services, such as outage to restoration, service order delivery, meter-to-market settlement, et cetera.
So those are some meaty challenges. Starting with the first one, can you tell me what happens with this explosion of data?
Well, originally it was too much data, too quickly, with very little insight. However, with the use of advanced analytics, we're now able to better respond to localized outages by rerouting electricity around the fault, proactively notify our customers of service impacting outages and restoration, and more efficiently manage the grid, the load on the grid during peak times.
And your second challenge, the emergence of multiple shadow IT departments. I hear that as a frequent challenge when I speak to clients, and I'm sure they'll be really interested to hear how Centrepoint managed to deal with these shadow IT organizations.
We brought them kicking and screaming. But seriously, we'd had that issue even before the explosion of technology within Centrepoint. But Centrepoint brought both operational technology and informational technology organizations together into a single team with the goal of DevOps in mind. This resulted in a need for change in both culture as well as the organization. The merging of IT and OT into a single organization has been instrumental in our ability to provide complete end-to-end situational awareness.
That is a bold move. I can see how that would really improve your ability to have that end-to-end view by bringing together those organizations. And you mentioned the word situational awareness. Can you talk to me about how you tackle this idea of situational awareness?
Sure. Obviously, we've evolved into a complex, tightly coupled and integrated system that encompasses many different technologies. And we proactively manage this complex system through the use of IBM Application Performance Management, which allows us to actually manage the end-user experience and not just the pieces of technology. Going forward, we're introducing predictive failure analytics into our tool set through IBM's Predictive Insights, using predictive failure analytics to further stretch the limits of proactive systems management, allowing us to further increase the reliable delivery of electricity to our customers.
Randy, thanks for sharing your experience with us, and I'm sure they'll resonate with many of our clients. This has been a great discussion. Would you please join me in thanking the panel for sharing their insights and experience with us? So last year, we launched Service Engage, a new digital experience to learn, explore, try, and buy IBM service management capabilities. We have been continually evolving its features, and this year we are announcing the beta of IBM Collaborative Operations, available on Service Engage, built on SoftLayer. IBM Collaborative Operations provides 3 key features. It enables hybrid management of applications, whether they're running on-premise, in public clouds, or Bluemix. It enables service management capabilities to be easily and rapidly composed to create end-to-end management of applications and services. And it enables teams to collaborate to solve problems through integrated workspaces. Now, Armand will be showing a demo of IBM Collaborative Operations. We'll be basing it around a scenario of a simplified but typical hybrid IT service. So imagine an airline. They want to better engage with their frequent flyers. So to do this, the airline is creating and launching a new frequent flyer app so that passengers can access their frequent flyer information easily from their mobile devices. For rapid development, the frequent flyer app has been built using a platform as a service, in this case Bluemix. The business logic and processing behind this app is done by a load-balanced application server running on a public cloud, in this case SoftLayer. And finally, the customer data is held in the database running on-premise. So this is a fairly typical hybrid scenario. Now, we begin by looking at how we can manage across these different types of systems. So the mobile app has been written in Bluemix using Node.js. Let's begin by logging into Bluemix so we can take a look at this app. One of the key things the developer wants to understand is the performance of the app. We've made application monitoring and log analytics a core service of Bluemix, using exactly the same technology as our SaaS offerings and our on-premise offerings. Being a core service is very easy to add this capability to the app. Simply by clicking Add a Service, we can see all the add-on services available. By selecting Monitoring and Analytics, it becomes attached to the app. You can now see it as one of the features for the app. You can now navigate to the monitoring service and see response time and availability. It's even possible to drill into deeper levels of detail to see the response time of the individual requests and even the method traces. Different users and roles need to have different views of the information. A developer is usually concerned with just a single app, just rather like we've just seen there. However, an operator typically needs to understand the entire set of applications that make up a service. And they also need to understand the dependencies. In this case, that includes the mobile app, the application server, and the database. For this, the operator would use Service Engage. So let's navigate to Service Engage. An operator is subscribed to a number of service management capabilities, but we are interested in performance management at the moment. So drilling into the performance management view, there are a number of applications being monitored, and we're interested in the frequent flyer service. You can see at the bottom of the screen a topology of the service. It's made up of the mobile app running on Bluemix, the application server running on SoftLayer, and the database running on-premise. Notice, however, that the monitoring is also being consumed in different ways. For the Bluemix app, we're using the Bluemix add-on service we saw earlier. For the application server, it's being monitored as a service. And for the on-premise database, it's being monitored on-premise. We are able to aggregate the performance information from these different applications together for an end-to-end view, even though the monitoring is running both as a service and on-premise. This is the flexibility and choice needed for hybrid IT. So we've seen how to bring together a view across a hybrid environment for a given capability like performance management. But an operator or subject matter expert will want to extend this so that they can see all the relevant information for service viewed in one place. So, for example, what are the open tickets against an application? How many events are there? What are their severities? In collaborative operations, we've created a console to enable users to easily build these views. We think of this as composability for service management. In the same way as applications can be built by composing services, we want them to be managed by composing service management capabilities. So let's take a look. We've provided a number of views out of the box. In this example, on the left, we can see the applications and a summary of their performance. And on the right, we can see the instance and request tickets. But it's more than just putting the information together in one view. If you look at the widgets in the middle, here we can see the tickets from the incident management tool categorized by the application discovered by the performance management tool. And if we click on one of those areas, the ticket summary is filtered by that application. This shows how we've enabled the information from different management capabilities to be viewed together and have context based upon what else is being viewed. These views are also customizable. This makes it possible for an operator to add other data sources so they can build views that reflect the services that a business is interested in. To customize a view, there is a palette of widgets. The widgets are shown depending on the capabilities that the organization has subscribed to in Service Engage. The more capabilities, the richer the set of widgets. Again, these are more than just independent data sources. They are pre-wired and have context. So, for example, the event widget. has events categorized by applications, again discovered by the performance management tool. And we can add it simply by dragging the widget onto the console. All of the connectivity is done in the back end. We've also been looking at other ways of composing information across service management capabilities, such as a shared IT calendar. Like any other calendar, it's possible to make diary entries into it. However, it's also automatically populated with information based on the service management capabilities that are being used. For example, there is a row for each of the applications that are being managed using our performance management tool. We can see when events have been raised against the different applications. For each application, we can also see the dates for when the changes have been made to the application. And this information has come from the change request information that's actually held in the service desk tool. We can even pull third-party information, such as maintenance windows published by Softlayer in Bluemix. So we've looked at hybrid management, and we've looked at service management composability. Now let's take a look at collaboration. In a hybrid IT world, there's an ecosystem of people involved in building, running, and managing a service. And these are ranged from developers, operators, to subject matter experts. The speed of delivery, the need for fast changes and fast time to repair is causing a change in behavior in these teams. Rather than the traditional sequential ticket passing between people and functions, we're seeing an urge to be much more interactive and collaborative. And this has led us to integrate collaboration directly into Service Engage. So let's walk through an example. Thinking back to our scenario, the newly launched Frequent Flyer app is experiencing a slow response. So first, an operator gets a notification from Service Engage on their mobile phone. The operator logs onto Service Engage to find out more. The operator sees that something unusual is happening here because the app is showing slowdown, but the application server and the database seem healthy. Now, given the high visibility of this new application, the operator wants to bring in a database administrator and a network engineer to help quickly fix this problem. The operator can do this from the health summary screen we saw earlier. The operator sees that a ticket has been automatically opened for this problem, and using collaborative operations, the operator is now able to create a new collaboration space from the ticket and invite people to join. And these people can be from both inside the organization and outside the organization. Once that collaboration space has been created, the participants can start communicating and sharing messages. They can also share message and information directly from Service Engage. For example, the operator can post information such as the application summary directly into the collaboration space. By posting information, it avoids copying errors and speeds up the workflow. So now let's bring up the screen of the network engineer and the screen of the database administrator to see what's happening there. Let's look at the network engineer first. The network engineer is able to view the application summary that was posted in by the operator. They then can decide to look at the problem to see if there's a bandwidth issue or a network issue. And they check the network, since the tool being used is an external one, they can actually take a screen capture and post that back into the collaboration space. Now, in our scenario, the network engineer isn't able to find a problem, and he communicates this back to the others. So let's take a look at the administrator view. The database administrator sees messages from the network engineer, and there isn't a problem on the network. They also see a request from the operator asking if there are any possible problems with the database. The database administrator decides to check to see if there have been any changes to the database. Now, using the IT calendar we saw earlier, it's very easy to do. And the database administrator does indeed find a change that includes network configuration changes. So they want to share this information back with the others, so they post this information back to the collaboration space. Again, this shows how easy it is to share the service management information. They also let the others know they'll try and fix the problem. The database administrator then uses an integrated runbook to apply a fix. Let's return to the operator screen. They see that the database administrator has finished applying the fix and checks the health of the service and sees that the service is again running properly. The key here is that the ecosystem of people involved in running services in a hybrid IT environment can collaborate to rapidly solve problems and can share information directly from the service management tools. Collaborative Operations is now in beta, and we welcome you to join our beta program. We saw how we're able to manage hybrid IT services and systems, providing flexibility and choice in how to use and consume service management capabilities. We saw how we can compose service management capabilities to create views across hybrid IT environments. And we saw how teams can collaborate to rapidly solve problems in hybrid IT systems. So we've talked about the importance of service management, but it's just part of the overall application lifecycle. To talk to you about how IBM manages the entire application lifecycle and how service management is a key part of this, I'd like to welcome on stage Marie Week, IBM General Manager of Middleware.
Thanks very much, Wing. Hi, everyone. I'm delighted to be here and see so many of you, and I hope you enjoyed those really tremendous new capabilities that I think is really going to speed the work of all of our teams as we deliver compelling new digital services. But I wanted to tie that together because I'm very excited now to be leading our overall middleware portfolio that brings some of our IT service management capabilities together with our WebSphere and our Rational communities and what we can do in that kind of environment. So let me just set the stage a little bit of how we see leveraging those and extending them out. And I think the whole notion that you heard this morning about digital transformation and what it's doing to all of our IT processes, really driving them everywhere, is really requiring the need for a much more accelerated and agile DevOps lifecycle that really takes into account all aspects, not only of IT, but of those systems of engagement, styles of deployment, and the expectations they have. We also see the need for intelligence. As you saw, analytics across the whole portfolio and how that's connected back to provide insights to rapidly resolve problems and also to deliver additional value. And everything is really driving to the cloud. And the notion of hybrid cloud, the connection of both on-premise and public cloud services, as well as different levels of cloud deployment, whether it's managed services, whether it's platform as a service, or whether you're connecting to SaaS solutions, all weigh into that discussion. We really see the whole delivery of systems of record meets systems of engagement with analytics and systems of insight as the opportunity to bring all of that together in a digital environment. And that it really has to address the full life cycle, starting with some of our IBM design thinking on how we actually conceive of the experience and everything that goes with it, not just in terms of user interface or interaction model, but all the way through to the resiliency and the responsiveness and the security aspects that go along with that of the overall experience of the end transaction. And we think there are a lot of very complementary new capabilities that come in the application platform. And I wanted to share just a couple of those with you on additional announcements we're making here at Interconnect this week that I think will weigh in. As you saw, the whole DevOps lifecycle and some of the scenarios in the demo revolved around the connection between new application development, a collaborative notion. And we're extending the Rational tooling capabilities as well on the collaborative lifecycle management around quality management, team concert, to automatically have support for Bluemix directly out of the box, to automatically integrate to capabilities from GitHub, to extend those notions and contribute back from a jazz and community perspective to bring those aspects to bear. Truly DevOps linkage. In addition, on the app server, clearly a critical component of this as well, we've got some exciting additional announcements. We've announced support for EE7, continuing the journey of standards, leadership, and open involvement. We've added support for Docker and container approaches that make the portability of these workloads in a hybrid environment between public and private much more readily available and highly productive. And we're continuing to provide the support for our Liberty capabilities directly on both Bluemix and on SoftLayer and extending those out. And we're announcing new performance metrics as we continue to optimize our whole stack for the range and size of the transactions and the number of users and endpoints people are connecting with to deliver superior world-class performance as well. And all of those pieces from the app server automatically carry in to the work that we're doing with our Pure App systems, both expert integrated systems for on-premise deployment at speed, really with a lifecycle model for DevOps in a box, but also with our Pure App service and the extensions that automatically bring not only our own patterns, but the support for Docker, and additionally now Chef and Heat around our OpenStack capabilities as well. So that combination really gives you the flexibility to be able to quickly deploy new capabilities at speed and at scale across a wide variety of delivery options and really keep that rate and pace of continuous improvement going. And that's really just the start of what we're trying to do in terms of a digital platform for systems. We think of IT service management as one leading aspect along with the application platform, but we're also bringing together the integration that's needed, as you saw earlier in the main tent with Jerry Cuomo about how hybrid cloud services and integration can connect those new delivery options with your existing system, supporting that two-speed IT kind of notion. We're also extending it as cloud continues to automate processes at a business level, in addition to at an IT level, into smarter processes, smarter decision capabilities, and extending that with our digital experience platform as well. But regardless of where in the portfolio you're leveraging these capabilities, there's a couple of tenets that we're really trying to adhere to and continue to drive leadership in. That these are open by design, that we need a community notion around all of these innovation areas so that they continue to get additional traction and adoption. That they are cloud ready and mobile first, since those are the engagement models that we're seeing, and so that the programming styles are supporting those as well. That we see all the styles of delivery, whether that is a cloud infrastructure, platform, or SaaS, and whether they're on-prem private capabilities or public cloud, supporting all those hybrid options. And that we really try to seize insight in the moment with analytics throughout the portfolio, and that we focus on the developer experience and how it ties back into operations so that you can achieve those productivity gains and that collaboration that Wing really talked about. So that combination, we think, really sets the stage for all of the digital platform transformation that's needed. But I thought it was worth closing with just a couple of points on our own journey in terms of how we've been driving to the cloud and driving a DevOps model in all of our development and delivery. And you saw we have over a dozen announcements ourselves in how we're bringing new capabilities out. And there were really three common elements that we see that I thought would be valuable for all of you as well. One is around collaboration. The whole notion of what we're trying to do with collaborative operations and collaborative lifecycle management is to allow all those different roles to really team and bring out the best of the overall innovation that you can harness. But there are some best practices even there, not just access to the right tools, but do you have the right skills? And are you really facilitating the communication, not just in IT, but linking to line of business? And that requires notions of a center of excellence model, notions of really a tops-down design that can help drive some of the experiences that folks are really driving. And that connects directly to the second point, all about the design and the experience that you get. How do you think through who the users are, what their expectations are, and how you can actually define metrics of engagement that will determine not just qualities of service, but are they really acceptable based on the expectations that those users actually have? And continually getting feedback, continuing to provide some of the sentiment analysis that we see in the rational part of the portfolio also complements that and can provide for a much richer experience for the end user. And last but not least, having the right technology underpinning and making sure that those capabilities are deployed consistently, are readily accessible, and that can scale with security is something that we see as a fundamental tenet that really drives successful deployment. So I hope that gives you a little context of not just where we've been and some of the new capabilities, but where we're going to bring these new aspects to really further accelerate the digital transformation and a DevOps notion in everything we do, and how we bring that out to even more users. So I'd just like to thank you very much for joining us here today. And there are many more sessions that can give you more of the details, and I look forward to getting your feedback and talking to you. Enjoy your time at Interconnect. Thank you very much.